Hey folks, before I get started and just show you this fairly raw chat I had with the ladies, I mean raw footage, it wasn't like naughty. I do want to say that my network was a little overloaded. Sometimes when I have bad weather in the area, my internet service provider doesn't provide fantastic service. And so we do lose video of each other from time to time, but the audio is fine throughout. And so I decided that we're just gonna go with it. Minimal editing in this so that I could get it to you quickly. It's been a busy week as my daughter went back to school. The weather was weird, having a banking issue they don't want to do to my deposits from the channel. It's a whole thing. So I apologize for the lateness, and I apologize that we all have to wait another 2 weeks before we see what happens. Anyway, almost 2 weeks, not quite 2 weeks. Anywho, that final chat will be live. So please make sure that you mark your calendar for Monday, January 20th, 2025, in case you're not sure, at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or just Eastern Time. And we will be here having a chat about that final episode. And I wanted to do live. I may just continue to do live even with couples next door, so that those of you who maybe wanted to be on the chat but are a little shy or couldn't meet us at the right time would still have a chance to drop in when you can, and hopefully we'll have a really fun conversation. See myself just being like the moderator of you guys talking and trying to get everybody's comments, and if this goes well as we progress. So thanks again for joining us, and I'll shut up now so you can hear all of us talk, because I'm just me talking to myself. Oh my gosh.
I got nothing going on. I'm just watching my husband in a sleep coma.
Sleep coma.
Mine's in
We're
a
trying to-
sleep coma.
I think mine's probably upstairs in a sleep coma too. Knowing him.
Mine will be awake
He's-
until like
he's
1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. We don't sleep
Wow.
like normal people.
So what are you saying? You're a vampire?
Yeah, I'm tired.
My mom used to think I like a dark room. I'm not going to lie. I turn down all
I
the
do too.
lights, or I.
Me too. So my husband always tells me, "You like to be in the dark." I said, "Absolutely." It's
It's
very
a good
calming.
place to be. Yes.
Yeah.
I get too many windows.
How's everybody
open, I'm
doing?
sure.
Doing good.
Good.
How's everybody's new year?
It was good, relaxing. I had 2 weeks off, and I had to go back to work today. Ugh,
Uh,
Oh, I
It was
just got
hard.
that time off.
yeah.
I had to work. I mean, I worked New Year's Eve, but New Year's Day I was off. But yeah, my husband and I went out for a nice dinner. It was our first date, so it was the anniversary of our first date 44 years ago. So,
wow,
Oh, very
that's
nice.
cool.
so it was fun.
Cool.
And then
I,
it turned out we met his owner of his company at the place we went for dinner, and then he ended up picking up our tab.
Nice.
wonderful.
That's nice.
So it was a pretty sweet night.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's sweet.
He didn't have to do that. We're like, wow, well, that was nice. So
Absolutely.
I spent the night in the ER with my husband because
oh no.
both had gotten the norovirus. And,
Oh,
yeah, and I didn't have it very bad, but he did.
oh,
Yeah,
so
sorry.
sorry. Yeah.
yeah, but he's doing better now.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
But yeah, I heard that it's horrible. You know, it's funny around this time of the year. I hate this time of the year. When my boys were little, it's like, and I don't know about you guys, but I always have puke buckets by the side of their bed, you know, because it's always this time of the year. And then they always end up getting sick. I'm like, no, ugh, don't
My
miss
daughter's
that.
gotten to the point where she'll tell me, "Mom, I'm not feeling so great." And like, grab the bucket, put it by her bed, try to get as good night's sleep as you can. Let me know if you need anything.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yep. Yep. That's about it.
Yeah.
Well,
Although
hopefully you
I
guys
gotta-
are all feeling better, Vicky. Gosh, I'm sorry. That's the worst.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a bummer.
we're doing a lot better. Yeah,
That's good.
I was gonna
yeah.
say my dad called me last night at 11 o'clock, and I thought, oh no, something's terrible. And he goes, your mother's in the hospital. I'm like, okay, it is something terrible. She got the coronavirus. It's like, oh,
Mm.
fantastic. He's letting us
Yeah.
know because we were all over there 8 days ago.
Yeah. That's a
Well,
bummer.
Good though.
Yeah.
That's good. So far, so good. That's good.
Yeah, I had that. My husband and I and our whole family had that. We all decided to go out for Halloween to a local bar for a Halloween party. when it first came around, and we all got it. So it was my boys and both their wives and myself and my husband. I don't wish it on anybody. It was
No.
terrible.
No, that's bad.
If I know mom,
Yeah.
she has at least 5 of the vaccinations, so whatever she has is not going to be terrible. Oh, I
Okay,
have
that's good.
4. Every time I travel on an airplane, I get another booster because I don't want to die
Oh
on
yeah.
vacation.
I always get sick when I travel on the plane. Never fails. There's always one person that's coughing on the plane. I'm like, that's it.
That's why I always take those vitamin C packets. I take one at night, my
Yeah.
first night that I travel, and then one right in the morning, and then one that night again. And I've yet to get sick when I've been doing all this running around to different places where everybody coughs on you.
Right.
I've yet to get
Hmm.
anything on vacation.
Well,
So,
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good
that's
idea.
good.
Yeah.
so take your vitamin C, Vicky, when you're running around Ireland, Scotland, and
Yeah.
you be good.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. Don't overdo it. Just get some good sleep too. I mean, I know it's always
yeah,
exciting when you first leave for vacation, but yeah, just
Okay.
get some rest too.
yeah,
True that.
yeah,
Well,
yeah. I'm
we
excited.
might as well pretend we're here for a reason. Not that I mean, we could just chat, honestly, but I
We can
mean,
chat all hour. Sure.
we're supposed to do a thing, so I have to do a thing. Um,
Wait, I think I
we're gonna.
missed the memo. You guys are all wearing purple, and I wore gray and black.
To
Funny.
be fair,
Sorry.
I'm often in
Didn't even notice
purple.
that.
I've got some gray in mine.
I had my
Yeah,
sweatshirt on that had a little bit of purple in it, but I was roasting up here. So,
This is the Children of the Mist sweatshirt, and it's based on the books, the Jacobite Chronicles,
Mm,
oh,
which Diana has recommended, and I mean those books are so good.
mm.
really?
Yeah,
I'll check that
and
out then.
The Audible is really good too.
Okay.
Yeah, and they do dual Audible. So they have Will Watt does the men voices, and
Mm.
Mary Jane Wells does the female voices.
I'm looking
And
for some new stuff to read for vacations. So,
yeah,
There you go.
it's based on the Jacobite, the whole Jacobite movement, but it's told in both sides. So
Oh,
the Jacobite side and then the English British side
Oh, that's
too.
oh,
cool.
Yeah, it's really good. There's 6 books,
oh,
and
6 books. Jeez.
yeah, there's 6
Got a
side books.
lot of reading to do, Kathy.
Yeah, 6 side books.
Get on that.
Yeah,
I might
but
start with one.
her books, it's by Julia Brannon. Yeah, Julia Brannon, and her books aren't as big as Diana's, but Diana highly recommended it, and
That's cool.
yeah,
we
Is
have to read
anybody's
the
books as
Diana.
big as Diana's? I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a lot. That's
None
for
of the
sure.
books I've ever seen have been that big. I'm
Yeah.
like, Lord,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
she's got a lot to
After
say.
that, I can really read anything. So I'll have to check it
You
out.
can read
have
one of
you
her
ever
books.
read?
The other ones are a breeze.
Have you ever read Jean M. Owl's series, Clan of the Cave Bear?
I have it on my list, but I haven't read it yet.
Okay, then I
Yeah.
won't say
What is
anything.
that about?
Those are some big old books, and I started reading those when I was 15. But like Diana, she came out with a book like every 10 years, we get the next
Oh my
part.
goodness.
So it wasn't quite that bad, but it was pretty darn close.
Wow.
So that's another good
Kind
one.
of like the
Strong
Harry,
female
kind of like the
character.
Harry Potter books. I think I read like one or two, and I'm like, oh
I
my
have
god, this
never
is so
read a Harry
long.
Potter book.
I've read all of them
No, it just
3 or
doesn't
4
interest
times
me.
to my kids.
Really? I
Uh,
never have.
yeah,
Well, all my
some
kids are
movies.
into Harry Potter. And
Hmm.
Yeah,
but see, I had a rule. I said we had to read the books before we could watch the movie. That was how I got them to do more reading, and they really like the
Gotcha.
Mhm.
movies. Now my
Yeah,
youngest, it's been the other way around. She's seen all the movies, has them memorized. I gave her the books, and I was like, "You're gonna discover new parts of the story if you read the books."
Right.
that's right. That's right.
Right.
But only if you have time, because they are really big books too. So,
yeah.
but I only got through 2 of them. But then my boys were smaller, even though they still love Harry Potter. My older son said he had my grandson starting to watch the movie. Okay, he's only a year old. He said he was scared. I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, there's some
Yeah.
terrifying characters in there. I'm like, you might want to wait a while.
Wait a few
That
years,
was,
yeah.
yeah. I think
That's too
I
funny.
think I introduced my youngest to it when she was 4 or 5. And just the
Oh
first
wow.
movie, like I wouldn't let her watch the other ones because they're too scary for a 4 or 5 year old.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah.
the first one just is like, wee, I'm whipping around on a broom and I'm going to this neat school of magic. It's not nearly as much creepy stuff that you get like by the third movie
Right.
and
So later movies.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Your daughter is cute, by the way, Katie. She
Yes.
really
Oh,
is
Yeah.
thank
adorable.
you.
yeah, she's cute. We saw the video.
She knows it. I won't
Did
tell
she
her. I'll
enjoy
keep
being on
loose
the
edge.
video?
Yeah, she said. I said, "Well, what do you want to do for Christmas? Do you want to do anything fun or special?" She goes,
That's funny.
"Could I be in a video?"
That's cute.
Okay, I'll do like when they do the Christmas wishes. I can talk about that one, and then some New
Sure.
Year's stuff. So they're fluffy, but they're still
That's
fun.
cute.
But I wanted to make sure it was G-rated because if we pop up and our next picture is Claire thrown in the passion up against a wall with
Yeah,
Jamie,
right. I like her.
they're fighting. That's what's
Wow.
happening, sweetheart. I do.
That's hilarious. Fighting.
Well, let's see. I think we've
Fighting
talked about
passionately.
enough
Yeah.
TV shows. I'll see you guys next week, and thanks for joining me on this chat.
I know, right? Yeah, I got it on screen right now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Jackie's got it playing. It's time for us to talk
I got
about
it
it.
playing right here.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that first.
So
Are we doing it right now?
I'm
Yeah.
going to really
Oh.
quick say we are talking about season 7, episode 15, Written in My Own Heart's Blood. In case you aren't aware, that's an Outlander television series, and we will discuss this episode. Is the second to last episode of our season, so it's going to be a good one. Where do you guys want to start?
The
Like-
very beginning, that
Oh
opening
my God.
sequence was amazing. When
Yeah,
they showed all the past wars
It
and
was.
her talking over it, saying even the people who want to go to heaven don't want to die to get there. I mean, the whole thing. I knew I was going to start bawling from the minute it was
Yeah.
get go.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, they showed that. I was already bawling. And I'm like, oh my God, I got a whole hour. Why am I bawling the first minute?
Same
Already?
here. From the
Amazing.
very beginning, I was too. I was bawling. So
Just bawling.
it was just really
Seeing
nicely
Murtaugh
done.
and all that. I'm
And
like, oh my goodness. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
bawling.
Yeah.
and
So I
that
knew
It's
it was
thing
going
of
to be
Claire
here.
having that little chat, I'm like,
I'd say their
It was
editing
just
techniques this season have been really fun. They've used it really
interesting.
well.
Very interesting editing.
yeah.
Yes.
This one,
Cinematically, I would say it was really just nicely done, and just that
Wonderfully
beginning
done.
and yeah.
the whole sequence in the beginning was amazing.
Yeah.
The cold open, I mean, that's considered, I guess, considered the cold open, right? That whole little sequence of that was
Yeah.
just incredible. And then the whole, having you go back through the whole wars and people and the whole, yeah, I'm like, oh my goodness. And seeing all the old people that you don't see anymore and all the Highlanders. I was like, oh, I remember that when I first watched the first season. It was
Oh.
just great.
Well, I'm rewatching it over again. This is probably like the 7th time because I'm like, okay, I need something to fill in the gaps. I mean, my husband and I are watching some other shows in between, but then I'll come up and go to bed, and then I'm just like still watching it. So
Yeah,
I'm
it
still
was
getting that
wonderful.
And I've
recap.
watched it several times, and every single time I cry.
Yeah.
I know.
I know it's
Me
gonna
too.
happen.
You know what's
Yeah.
coming and you still cry. I'm like,
Yeah,
what the heck?
no, yeah.
Yeah, that whole beginning when he's talking to Claire, oh my goodness, that just made me bawl even more.
Yep, same.
It was incredible. These two just knocked it out of the park in this episode.
Yeah, they
I mean,
did.
Sam and Cat, let's talk about that for a second. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they don't get any awards for this,
It's incredible.
it'll
Yeah.
be justice.
I mean,
Yeah, I highly doubt it will. I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
They don't
really
Christina's
get
up, I
them
know,
so
for her award, but yeah, for Sam, it might not be maybe till next year, with that huge gap that they had. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, he did amazing, I thought.
he did an amazing job
Yes.
at that. And yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sam did a lot of really interesting things this episode, I thought, because I don't think I'd ever would have imagined I'd see him screaming at somebody and calling them a whore. I just don't
That was
think
great.
he hated me for using that. But that was if you're gonna use it like that.
in the book, he says it in Gaelic.
Yeah.
I'm
And
so glad that they didn't do that in Gaelic, because in the book he yells that in Gaelic, and then she translates it. Even though she's shot, oh, you just called him a whore. And she translates Gallic. I'm like, the girl shot on the table and she's translating it. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Woman's
I
work
kind of
never done.
actually wish they would have done it in Gaelic,
I don't think
and
so.
maybe had the you know, the
The subtitle.
words, the
Yeah, they
subtitle.
didn't do any subtitles, any of the Gallic though in this whole series.
No.
They
Not
didn't.
once.
No.
No.
Which I would have probably appreciated that in the earlier season,
Yeah.
especially in season 1, because you really didn't know what they were talking about most of the time anyways, because of the accent. And then they threw the Gallic in there and didn't explain what they were saying. I'm like, really? Come on, people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ik ben Krakendien. Furnishi.
Yeah, that was because Claire didn't know the Gaelic at that time, and so it was in her point of view, and so she
Right.
didn't know it. Yeah, but I'd been studying the Gaelic, and in when they get back to Leoch after they had been married, and he rescued her from Blackjack, and there was that big fight that they had. And she wouldn't let him come into bed, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oikava,"
He's
you know,
where's in Gallic, yeah.
he's Oikava, and
Yeah.
I looked it up, and it's good night. You know, like he's like, good night.
Ochiva.
Yeah, there's a
right then.
deleted scene. There's a deleted scene from that same episode that they deleted, and I came across it on YouTube. And it's when they go into the hall and everyone's congratulating them that they're married. And of course, those two, they don't show that they had a fight before they walked in there. They had an argument in the bedroom before they walk in there, and that's the part that they cut. And he says something in Gallic in that too, and and she yells him, "I know what that means." So I'm assuming it meant something swear word, or he said something not so nice. It's just the way she said that. I know what that means.
Know what that means?
It's funny.
Well, yeah, I hadn't seen Sam, as Jamie, have that kind of screaming. And last night I just finished the end of season 1, so what that was happening then.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen him do any kind of scream or
Not like that.
anything
Not
like
since
that.
then.
No.
Not anywhere. Not in any of the rest of the seasons. Not
I mean,
anything.
he was really emotional when Murtaugh died, but
But he didn't do that.
no.
Yeah.
No.
There was a correlation though. If you notice what he said the same thing to her about saving Murdoch, save him, and then he said to Denzel the same, save her, same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
There was a lot of correlations. I don't know if you all noticed that this episode
Yeah.
to previous
Yeah.
episodes.
A bit
Yeah.
here and
I
there.
noticed that running through this whole episode. I'm like,
Right.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Like in the very beginning, the picture, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
That
I
was
didn't
pretty
catch that
cool.
until
I
somebody
thought
said
that was
something.
amazing how they changed that photo. And was
Yeah.
that supposed to be Bree and Frank looking at the photo? Was that what that's supposed
Yeah.
to be?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
believe
when was
so.
that supposed to happen?
When she was little.
Well, actually, it was when Bree was taken to the museum to see the painting of her grandmother, of Jamie's mother. And she actually was like supposed to be looking at that picture instead of the battle picture. But but I think it was good that they did that.
Was that
Yeah.
in the book? I don't remember that.
Well, Claire said she had some sort of coloring book that was from the Revolutionary War time
I
when she
remember
was
that
little.
part.
Bree did, yeah.
That Bree had, right? And she remembers Frank helping her color it in because she wanted it to be accurate and, you can't have pink bombs or whatever. I mean, I remember that part,
Right.
but I don't remember them.
Could have
looking at
been
a
something they
picture.
just added in for the show, one of those little
That could
things.
be.
That was
Okay,
in
I'm
there,
thinking
so.
maybe that was just a show thing. Okay, because I don't remember that in the book.
And then with Claire and Jamie in the
Both in it, yeah. I
Yeah.
noticed
Yeah,
that.
that was kind of cool.
That was awesome. I'm like, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it took me a while to find Claire.
Oh,
You
she's
know.
bending over a patient, on the bottom
Mhm.
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm like, well, that was cool.
yeah,
They're just adding all this stuff in here they just made this whole episode extraordinary with what they put in here. Little tidbits here and little tidbits there. It was awesome.
Yeah.
What do you got, Katie?
Well, I was just going to say comparatively, because I talk about Star Trek from time to time. people in Star Trek get very upset at what we call fan service, and that's what this is. Where we're,
Yeah.
you guys who read, you guys who have watched and memorized every episode, we're going to give you a little something extra. And I
Right.
find it interesting that you
Right.
guys are really adoring that. I enjoy it. I
I
enjoy it
adore it.
anyway. Where we
Yeah,
hear
I do.
complaints
As
on the
long as
other
it's
end.
good,
Yes.
as long as they do it well, because there's been a few things that they put in there that I'm like, really? I mean, did you really need to do that? But whatever. But yeah, I know it's called fan service, and we're fans. We're the ones that are watching it and paying to see it. They should do it, right?
Yeah.
I think it's
Right.
nice of them to do a little something extra. Oh, the fans are going to take notice of this, and we're going to
This,
give them
yeah,
this
of
little
course we
something
do.
extra, and I enjoy that.
I love it. Absolutely, that's pretty cool.
I'm
Yeah.
personally very excited to get to the end, but I'm not going to do that to everybody. How about
no, it's-
Saving William? How about Saving William? Did we like Saving
I
William?
like that. That was, one thing I have to say. I think David Barry in the patch. He's looking hot in a patch. They kind of made the dude who's really stand forward and clean cut, kind of the rugged dude, and I think he just is carrying that off so well.
Yeah.
In every
Yeah.
episode of this 7B, he has been outstanding. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
he really
he has
has.
stole the show this whole second half of the season. He's amazing. He's amazing in this too.
Yeah.
And that whole look when he kind of looks over at Ian sideways, I'm like, yep, there it is, right there.
Yeah, he's actually more his character self
Yeah.
in the Lord John Grey books. That's the way he is.
Yeah, he's kind of
Yeah.
standoffish and a little snarky in the books,
Yeah.
which they haven't, and a little rougher. But I think they're all Jamie's a little rougher in the books too. They kind of smooth Jamie out in the story, of course, with Samuel, and he's smoother. In the books, he's a little rougher, and around the edges. And so is, like you said, so is Lord John. And I think they kind of made him that way, which is great.
Yeah.
Those two colors are kind of coming through.
Yeah, the book, Lord John is coming through totally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then Ian, of course, he decides he's going to let the captain, or I'm assuming a captain, leader of the pack,
right.
go, and then rethinks it.
Rethinks
And
about
I
it.
like this because of, I'm going to switch over to Rachel and Claire here in a second, because
Yep.
of both Rachel and Claire's concern for their husbands. One worried
Husbands,
he's going
right.
to go too far, and the other one worried he's not going to go far enough.
Far enough because of the
Right.
promise he made her. Right. And that was interesting because that's exactly what I thought too when he let him go. And that's the reason why he let him go. You could read it on his face. I mean, literally, that's the reason why he let him go. And he didn't kill the dude. He threw the thing so the gun wouldn't go off. Yeah. And she has that worry. I get that.
And then in the end, he's like, screw this. He's like,
he's like, yeah, this is going to come back and bite my ass, I think.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Let's just do this right now because I know this is not going to end well if I
Right.
don't.
Yeah.
He was thinking about Archbug then.
Probably.
That's what I
Exactly.
think, too.
Right?
I think
Exactly.
he's learned
That's
his
what I think
lesson.
too.
If he leaves somebody out there to do him harm, he's not just protecting
He's
himself.
going to come
now,
back
he's
and hurt his
protecting
wife or
Rachel.
whoever.
Yeah.
Right. Totally.
Or whoever
Yep.
comes along. Yes, whoever.
Yes,
Well,
right.
and I think Rachel will understand, because it was to save William. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The only thing that I thought was would have been a little bit better would have been if he would have done it in front of Lord John and William.
Why?
Well, because in the books he did it in front of Lord John, and I just thought that they would really be able to see him as more of a warrior, than
I think the reason they might have done this far away is though, so we as an audience can see that he's struggling with how to
With it.
deal with
Yeah.
the promises
Yeah.
made to
Yeah, to
Rachel
think
and the
about it.
person he is.
Correct. And who he's trying to be for her, really. It's coming
Yeah.
about us. Who's he trying to be for her?
Yeah.
Yeah. The
But
whole
I do see
struggle.
your
I saw
point.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lord John and William have not seen him in action, so to speak.
Mm-mm.
But they
Right.
did sort of get a little bit of a look at it while they were taken out.
There. Right. Doing William, yeah.
Hessians.
yeah.
And I like
Yeah.
that he ended it with calling William cousin.
Mhm.
Yeah, did you see the look on his face though?
Yeah,
He
that's
kind
all
of gave him
can
that like,
deal
yeah,
with it.
really don't call me that look.
I don't care.
Did y'all catch that? I mean,
Yeah.
it was in just in passing, very brief.
And farewell, cousin. Thank you.
Whether you like it or not.
I know. He's like, yeah, he gave him that look, like, don't call me that kind of look, and then said thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fare thee well. I don't think meant fare thee well. Maybe a
Right.
different F word. Um,
Mhm.
so
Right.
yeah,
Oh, that's
that's what we're all
hilarious.
gonna do from now on. Whenever you want to say something nasty, you just tell people fare thee well. We all know what
Right.
it means.
Instead of saying something like, "Oh, well, your hair looks nice today," just say "Fare thee well."
Fare thee well.
Farewell.
Funny. Oh my God, that's
Um,
hilarious.
Fare thee
yes,
well.
Are those dreams that she's having? I just got a question. Claire,
yeah.
with those black and white with the whole
I think
stars,
it's
or are they actually?
flashbacks.
Were that something that the
Mhm.
flashback that they did, and then she's just thinking about the conversation,
Yeah,
right?
That's what I'm
I
saying.
think it's a flashback.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm thinking too. That
yeah.
she's just remembering the conversations they had
Mhm.
as he goes
Yeah.
off to war. Is that yeah?
Yeah.
And
Okay,
I like how she says she senses that something is different this time.
different,
Like she knew
Yeah.
something was kind of coming. She couldn't quite put her finger on it,
right?
Hmm.
but she knew something was coming. I mean, call it what you will. I say mother's intuition, but I mean,
Yeah,
when you get that feeling that something bad is going to happen, it's like
happen.
she
Yeah.
knew that was something was coming. I think she thought it was going to be Jamie, but who knew that it was
Yeah,
going to be her?
that whole
Yeah.
speech, I mean, that whole section of when they're together right before all that starts to happen was incredible. He talks about his mom and the
Yeah,
hair. I'm like, oh my goodness, y'all.
Yeah.
I was crying because, I
yeah,
lost my mom when I was very young, and it just really hit it for me. I think that's
yeah,
why that whole scene just made me cry,
yeah,
because I think about the same thing sometimes. You just think about what they look like and then at that particular point in time.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, they
Yeah.
were hitting all the dots on this one, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another example
definitely.
of Sam doing an excellent job. He really
Oh,
painted a picture.
amazing. I know, right?
Hmm.
Amazing acting in that whole scene. And then her face, like she wanted to cry, but not quite. You know what I mean? For him
Hmm.
Yeah.
almost. I'm like, oh my God. She was just, the two were just, they're magic together. I really do. I always wonder how
Yeah,
they're going to do when they're apart. Different things, doing different things. They're good together. They really are.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love to see
Yeah.
them do a different kind of genre together. Would be kind of interesting to see if they have the same connection.
Yeah. That
I
would be
always wonder that
interesting.
if they did something totally different, if they'd have the same connection, or is it just the genre they're in that's making that connection? Does that make sense?
All right.
Yeah.
My next
Yeah.
yeah.
mission is to get them on Star Trek. We'll see what happens.
Get him a Star Trek. Well, whatever's. Why can't I think of his Spiel? Why can't I ever say his name? He was on Star Trek, on
Yeah. Ed,
Picard.
Ed, Ed Spaliers. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
met him
Oh,
too. He's nice.
he was on Star Trek. I was like, oh my! When I watched Picard, I'm like, oh my God, that's
Yep.
what. Wow. I liked him in Picard, but I liked him in Outlander better. That's just me, though.
I adored him in Star Trek just because he played a character we all knew was out there. We knew there was a love child between those two. We just didn't know when we were going to see it.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, I'm sorry, Ed. We love you, but we're not talking about Star Trek right now.
I know. We'll have to do that again. Another podcast, Katie. I'm a Star Trekker too, so yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna start a Trek thing. I'll hit you up. I'll let you know.
Okay.
Let's see. Where are we trying to go? Oh, let's talk about Buck and Roger. I always want to say Buck Rogers.
well,
Buck and Rogers
Rogers.
Rogers was
Adventures. We're all
reading
aged. You
with
know
you.
why I want to say Buck Rogers. It's all right. I enjoyed that show as well. Okay.
That's funny.
Roger was a little self-indulgent, wasn't he?
A little
In
bit, but I can understand. It's hard to figure out when he was. When do you tell? When do you tell your great 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 granddad that you just met your great 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 grandmother and not mess
That's
up
your
the
mother.
timeline?
Yeah.
right, like Back to the Future. You don't want to, you know,
Yes.
f
He
up
doesn't
the
want Marty McFly
space-time
himself out of
continuum,
existence. Yes.
right?
Right. We're right. Didn't they do that in Back in the Future? Was
Yeah,
that when
They
they did
tried.
that? They put notes, or was that a different show? I keep thinking they did something like that.
yeah. And Back to the
Okay,
Future,
Did
yes.
they
they,
do
Back
that
to
in
the
the
yeah,
future?
Future. Marty meets
they
his
went to like an
mother. They go
alternate
on a
time,
date. He almost
That
becomes his
was
own
hilarious.
dad.
Yeah.
No.
right,
That's probably what he was thinking. I don't want to do Back to the Future type of thing.
right. think he
No.
kind of waited, but then it was really a lot about him and, trying to find Jemmy and all
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Buck is like, what? Come on, dude, what were you thinking?
Right. You should have told me that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Even if he would have told him, what would he have done differently?
and that's true. It's not like Buck can go up to him and go, "Mom,
He's not going to
Dad,
do anything
finally."
anyways. I mean, what is he going to do when he did know that was his mother? I'm like,
Oh, nice to meet you. So
yeah, I mean, what is he going to
let's get
do?
to it.
So he
I
gets
mean,
all
if there was
upset because he didn't say something. Well, what were you going to do anyways if he did know it was your mother? I mean, I don't know what he. I
Right.
don't know.
Well, right, but then but then Buck says to Roger, he's like, "Well, why didn't you tell me? Because then it would have, maybe changed the fate of your own father."
Then perhaps we should have left your own father to his fate.
When he met his father, that whole thing was a little weird. I think Buck just seemed like he was really upset.
Yeah, and I think Roger, after like Buck explained, he was very like sorry about it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He was apologetic and really meant it, and
I
so
don't think there
but
was any. I would say I don't think there was any way he could have really approached it differently. If he'd warned him
No,
beforehand, he could have. I mean, would he not have
messed something
gone?
up
Would he have
or
said
said something
something?
wrong or whatever. I don't know.
I mean,
Mhm.
So
unless he
I
leaned
can
in for a
understand why he
kiss
didn't
on.
say anything to him.
Yeah, there's just. Yeah.
yeah.
It sucks all around, but I can see why he had to do what he did.
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with that. I can see why he didn't tell him
Yeah.
then.
And
There's
it ended
a
up
lot of.
with it ended up with another Mobius twist. I mean, like because if he didn't have Buck with him and they didn't go to see Galus because of Buck's heart, then Dougal
Wouldn't have
wouldn't have come to
wouldn't have
give,
come.
yeah,
Right.
and yeah, and the parents wouldn't have met and
Got together.
and he
Exactly right.
had Buck, and then Buck would have had so on on down the line.
Doesn't that make Roger a relative of Jamie?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So
And
how is
Bree,
he and
Yeah,
Bree together when they're related? I'm just
Well, yeah,
wondering about
because
it.
but it's
Bree is
very
like
very
his
far
five
removed.
generation
Because
cousin
when he
or
was
something.
talking
Yeah.
about that, I'm like, wait a second. Dougal was Jamie's uncle. I mean, the whole thing started rolling in my head. Wait a minute, those two are related? Wait a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Brienne
absolutely.
is related too, but they're so far apart
There is that
because
200-year
yeah,
age gap, or
200-year
birth gap,
gap
anyway.
there, I suppose. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
a
funny.
lot of ancestors.
True that. I
So
think they had that conversation, didn't they? Didn't him
yeah,
and Bree have that conversation in an earlier episode? Like
I
way
don't know if it
earlier,
was
like
ever
third
on the
season or something.
screen.
Remember they had that conversation, I think. If I remember right.
I don't know if they ever had that conversation on the screen. I'm
I think
not.
him and Bree did,
Well, good
but
news.
I
We're
don't
going to
remember.
review
I
all
think
of
it was
the
season 3.
episodes so we can go back and.
I'll let you know when it comes up in the next, because I'll be getting to that episode.
I think it
down
was
the
in
road.
season when they. I don't know. I don't remember what season it was because I could have
It
swore I
would have had to
remember them
been
having
season
a little
3.
bit of a conversation about that.
Yeah, was it when Brianna met Roger when Claire came to Scotland when they were kind of reviewing all the stuff, all the
It might
family
have been
records
because
and
I just
stuff?
remember them having that conversation.
Okay,
It was
Her
either
and
the last
Roger.
episode of season 2 or one of the mid-season
maybe.
episodes of
Yeah,
3.
something
Okay.
yeah.
somewhere in
Well,
that
don't
area.
remark me again. I'll let you know if it comes up.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think they did.
Yeah. We just don't watch enough Outlander. We don't have it completely memorized yet. Bad us.
I know, right? It's kind of
It
all
was
jumbled
it
together
was
right about now.
Hey,
it was in the books, but yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
All jumbled together.
yeah.
Okay, well, this has been a fun. No, I'm just kidding. All right, we got Buck and Roger. Okay, and then we got okay. So there is more to Buck and Roger. I cried for Buck in this episode more than
Yeah.
Roger, and I
Yeah.
was really mad when Buck is talking about how and he and Mora got together.
Together.
However, he kind of made up for it at the very end of his discussion by saying, "You're all my sons." It's like he's taking
Right.
responsibility for the family that he is the progenitor of. Or is that the right? That's not the
Right.
right word, but you know what I mean. The leader of the pack,
Right.
Right.
and so I thought that was nice. I really didn't like the How I Met Your great 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 grandmother story,
Yeah.
um, that
Yeah.
paints him in a very bad light.
Not very nice man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, then, yeah, you do kind of feel sorry for him, but then at the same time, do you really want to know your mother? She was kind of a psycho. She's kind of a psycho.
This
Yeah.
is
Yeah. Like
true.
he says, you mean that's the woman that killed 5 of her
Right?
husbands? Yeah, that's the one.
I don't know if you really want to. I don't know how bad you really want to get to know your mom.
Do you really want to know her?
Yeah.
But at
Well,
least he got to leave a letter for her. I mean, say
yeah.
something to her.
Yeah.
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 True.
The thing when they came up to Lallybrook and met Brian Fraser
Brian Fraser.
outside raking,
Hmm.
he had the wrong wig on. He's supposed to have black hair, and I mean strictly dark black hair,
Hmm.
and his hair was red.
I guess I didn't even notice that.
I didn't either.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's his mom who has the red hair, right?
right.
Yeah, his mom
And the
has
father
red hair.
has the dark hair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he has the
And
black
Jamie
hair.
looks like the mom, and Jenny looks like the dad, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
I guess
Are
I
And
you
didn't even
sure
notice
that just
that.
wasn't like some bad lighting or something?
No.
I don't know. I should
Did-
watch it. Can I rewind and find it? Check it
several
out. I got it on screen right here. I should rewind and check it out.
Oh,
Yeah.
We'll have to check
if it
that out.
was the wrong wig, I didn't notice it.
I didn't notice either. I was thinking it was gray,
I guess I
so
didn't even
I'm not
notice
paying
that.
any attention.
I know I
Right.
wasn't paying any attention to that.
No.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch it. I just didn't even notice.
Yeah, because I mean, Jamie's called McDo,
Right.
the son of the black one.
Right.
Mm. Is that what that means? I guess
Yeah.
I didn't even know. Oh, I didn't know that's not okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and yeah, so
I didn't even
Yeah,
know
no,
that.
speaking of wigs, a lot of people were saying that Claire's wigs didn't look like it was that gray in certain scenes and certain parts. I'm like, but see, I don't know if it's the light that
I think
was
it's the
Right.
lighting.
differently.
It's
Yeah.
the
I do. I think it's
lighting.
the
It just
different lighting.
irritates me.
yeah,
She ought
Yeah.
to
I
have
do.
at
I
least
think
as
it's
many
different
white
lighting.
hairs as I do under this, and she doesn't. So that irritates me.
Yeah, getting some. But my lighting is very bad. You can't see the
You can't see
gray.
mine either, but it's right. It's in here. You can see him if you look.
mine's
Oh
all
yeah.
all
I have
gray.
that scene you're talking about. His hair is dark though in this one that I'm looking at.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
see
'cause
red
when I
in his
saw-
hair.
Yeah, when I was looking at it, it was like it was red.
Really, I don't see
Yeah, it
that. I
might
see
be
it being
the
dark.
it might be the lighting.
That's probably the lighting too.
Yeah.
Again, yeah.
Yeah,
Possibly.
maybe.
But that just means we have to watch it again to be sure.
Yeah.
Darn
Like,
it.
sure.
Life is rough, but I'm willing to make the sacrifice.
Yeah, same.
It's like, do I want to cry all over again? I don't know.
No.
I was thinking he ended up wearing Jamie's wig by mistake.
That's hilarious. Well, he was wearing his outfit. Did you notice that? He had the exact same outfit Jamie was doing when he was doing
Yeah.
that same thing in the
Right?
episode in season
Yeah.
1. Exact
Yeah.
same outfit on,
Yeah.
top and bottom even. I'm like,
Great.
they're really doing that whole sprinkling that stuff all over this thing.
Hand-me-downs were very important because
I
if you
guess
see, they
well,
do
they
that
did
a
it.
lot.
Yeah, me too, right?
Yeah. Because
What's with that?
Marsley gets
Why did
Claire's
she have her in those
hand-me-downs,
clothes? I
and
guess I was wondering.
and of course so does Brianna. I mean, hand-me-downs are a way of life. That's just how you survived and didn't go naked.
Right.
Is that why Mandy's in Jemmy's clothes?
Yeah,
Seriously?
yeah.
Hey, I had boys and girls. That my son got a couple of my daughter's shirts that were neutral that could go for both, sports teams and stuff like that.
But she looks like a girl, and she and that those clothes look like for a boy.
Yeah.
Maybe she's a tomboy.
Yeah,
The hat and all.
I don't think Brianna had time to make an outfit for Mandy.
Yeah. Just whip
So-
together whatever she did.
So she just took,
Yeah.
yeah, Jemmy's old clothes and put them on, and then she put Roger's old clothes on Jemmy, and
Yeah.
kind of like
Hmm.
altered them a little bit so that they would
You
funny.
may
fit.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, make do. Okay, I
Especially
just
because
have a
she's
question.
in a hurry.
She is
Mhm.
very question about that though. That whole scene with her in the study and taking out Frank's book and looks at it. I wonder
Yeah.
if they're going to do that storyline. But then again, uh,
But-
she
think they have
left it all
time.
when they went through the stone, so maybe they're not going to do that storyline.
See, I don't know if somebody
You know
else
what
said
storyline I'm
that
talking about?
she,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right?
Somebody else said she left that bag, but I don't know
Right.
if she would maybe grab Mandy before she made it through the stones and came back to grab the bag. So we won't know till
Right,
Yeah.
because I noticed that the bag was left there when they went through,
right.
and I'm like, oh, are they not going to have her do all the book stuff? Because that was an
But she
amazing
kind of
part of the
has
book
to
too.
because that's
But I'm
kind of
thinking
the
that could be season 8. That could be
well,
part.
Yeah.
I'm
It
just
is.
wondering if they're not
Yeah.
even going to do that.
Yeah.
right.
No, I
That
bet
is
you.
season 8. Yeah.
I bet you're right.
Yeah,
It's
that's
going to
going
be
to be the
season 8 thing. It's
basis.
one of those things that they had set to cut out because they thought it was going to end in season 7, but now they know they can carry it on. I bet you're right, and we'll see it in 8.
Maybe we'll
Yeah.
see that in 8. I'm just
Yeah.
because she left the bag there, so I'm wondering maybe
Yeah.
that's what, like you said, should come back to get it and then go back through. But I
But
don't know
No,
if they even do
we
that.
didn't see them go through. We just saw Amanda
Her running
running
to the
towards
Running
the
stones, right.
towards
stones.
towards it.
Mandy,
Right.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
And she had dropped her Esmeralda doll,
Right,
and yeah, she had it with her when
right.
for season 8. But I know in the books, Jemmy and Mandy ended up going through the stones, and because Jemmy went to get her and bring her
Right.
back,
Right.
and then they had to find 2 more gemstones, and the
Because it came back, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
because
Right.
they came back and they were missing 2 gemstones, and the principal had come along and
With them,
gave
right.
them and gave them
Oh,
the
yeah.
ring, his ring,
Right.
for them. And I was thinking,
That's
well,
a lot to do though in the story. I don't know. Would
Yeah,
they
I don't
do
think
all
they'd
of
have
that?
time to do all that.
I
I don't think
don't
they're going to do all of
know.
that.
They might or might not, but because there was supposed to be a whole lot of drama with them going through the stones, with people chasing after them
Yeah,
and
but no one is there. I
right,
mean,
Yeah.
nobody is there. I mean, no one
right,
is chasing them. No one's there. So I'm just thinking
right.
they're probably not going to do any of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm thinking they'll probably catch her before she goes into the stones, and so
Maybe,
that they
yeah,
have
and that's what we'll see
That's what
next
I
week. They
think.
just they tend
yeah,
to maybe Jemmy will catch her before she goes through the stones,
yeah,
and then she'll pick up the backpack or
bag,
whatever it is, and
yeah,
then that's how they get that storyline to go through into season 8. Maybe
yeah.
I was just wondering about that because I just know that she left it there. I'm like, oh, are they going to not do that? Because that was awesome.
Yeah. And the other thing too, I was thinking was maybe Fiona would show up,
Mm,
and
yeah,
give them a couple of stones if they need it,
maybe.
to make sure that they were safe. And
Yeah, because they seem to be using her in most of those storylines. That's
Yeah.
true,
yeah,
which is nice. I liked Fiona. And
yeah,
and if you think about it in the story part, that would actually make sense that she'd be the one that would do all that because
yeah,
they didn't introduce anybody else in this whole show except for her.
Well, right,
Yeah.
and
Really,
it sounded like they were cutting out the Joe Abernathy part, which
fully,
he
they
also
totally
did
did.
too.
Yeah,
So,
they didn't
yeah,
do any of that.
yeah,
No,
mhm.
yeah,
because he
I
was the
think
one
that's
that did
just
all of this actually.
Right.
So
because
they
they
just
kept it
cut
all
that.
in
So they kind of
Scotland,
made it for her.
so
yeah.
there
They
wasn't
kept it
the
all in Scotland.
traveling. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true that.
and yeah, and Fiona, there was like a still of a picture of a scene with Fiona and Bree in the kitchen at Lollybrook that never happened.
Mm.
So
Oh,
it
that's
might be a cut on the floor.
Oh, maybe that was cut out too. Yeah,
Yeah,
could be.
but yeah. So
let's say
Unless
we never can
that happens
tell.
next. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, we know
yeah,
what kind of story to expect, but could never really tell what details they're going to be able to keep in the
Right.
show.
right.
I mean, that's been something we've talked about over and over again through these
Mhm.
chats.
Yeah,
It's kind of a
yeah.
guessing
Yeah,
game.
I think they like to keep us guessing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well,
which is
Yeah.
it's nice
yeah,
because you wouldn't want everything to be really predictable because then what's the
no,
point of watching it? But
right.
yeah, little switches are nice. Little switches are nice.
Well,
I don't
I
mind.
have to say, this whole season has been really close to the books. I mean, more than any other season besides one, really,
Yeah,
Mhm.
because they really fluctuated from 2 all the way up through to 6. And this, then all of a sudden, 7B, they're like reading right from the book. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
where'd that come from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Again, I
it's just
think
kind
it's
of wild
respecting
that
the
all of a
fans.
sudden they're just doing that. It's like you can open up and read the script right here. There you go.
Yeah.
It's a strong way to finish it. Even though it's not the end
Yeah.
yet, it's a strong way to kind of say thanks for watching, guys, and keep
Yeah.
coming back because we got more. So
Yeah. It's
it's
true.
good to see.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
uh, do we want to get to the ending there with
it's so good. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I
lot?
was thinking of saying something about Fanny.
Oh,
Oh,
oh yes,
yeah.
please, yes. I
Yeah.
didn't even talk about that. Yes.
She was just absolutely fantastic.
She was.
Yeah,
She
Yeah.
was really good. Very
yeah,
emotional. She did
very.
that emotional thing really
Yes.
well.
Yeah, she.
Hmm.
She did. That whole actress is really good.
She is.
Yeah,
She's done really
Yeah.
well.
She
yeah,
has done really, and it seems, I was thinking about Denny and Rachel too. I mean, we're kind of getting to that part. You're talking at the end.
yeah,
They did such a good job, and it was weird. I was just thinking about that when I was watching the first time. I'm like, these guys have been on the show forever, and then I realized they've only been on this show since this season. I'm like,
Yep.
why does it feel like I've known these two characters for the whole show?
Hmm.
They
Yeah.
just integrated so well into these characters. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. And they've only been in season 7. That's weird to me.
Yeah. They've
yeah,
created this very familiar relationship with Claire and Jamie very
Yeah,
quickly, and it
really
felt
good. Yeah.
natural.
I
Hmm.
think that's probably why I feel like that we've known them for this whole show, and we haven't. They just really picked really good actors that really kind of blended with the whole crew so well that you don't
Yeah,
even
they are. They're a
so
really good fit.
seamlessly. They did it so
Hmm.
seamlessly. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
The only other thing, before I get to the end, oh, we're being
Mhm.
told, but don't worry, we got some time. We're good. I wanted to, once again, because it seems to be an ongoing theme for Claire every season, and then Brianna this past season too, convincing men that you can do your job.
That you're worth
I've
it.
never
You can
had
do
that problem, but oh, I'm lying.
that whole doctor scene. Oh my
It gets,
goodness.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's almost irritating
Ugh,
because you know she's going to walk in the door and say, I'm a doctor, and they're going to go, no, you're not.
no, you're
Um,
not.
and we have to
Yeah,
do this
I know.
every
It always
damn
feels like
time.
she's trying to constantly prove herself. And then
constantly
when
Yes.
through the
she
whole
does, we're
series.
like, oh, yeah, well, we were wrong. Jeez.
Well, the whole series, she had to prove herself of being a doctor. The first
Hmm.
with
Yeah.
Alamance, same thing. The doctor didn't believe she was a surgeon, right?
Yep.
So
Oh,
she's
yeah.
had to do it the whole series. Yeah.
Mm.
That's going to be
I've
super
only had that
irritating
happen
for.
to me one time. I went on a job interview because my degree is in photography. So I had to go on an interview for a job. And this was after I got out of college, so like 1988. And the guy asked me straight up, because you're coming for this job. So when do you plan on having children? And I was like, what?
Seriously.
I've
I'm
been
like,
asked that question too.
Really?
I'm like, how dare
Uh
you?
huh.
And I'm
Wow.
like, and I wasn't smart enough at the time to say, or didn't know any better, because I always thought, you don't talk back. It's a job
Yeah,
interview.
none of your
Had I
business.
known any better, I would have been like, you can just F off, pal. I don't need this job. But,
Yeah,
I
they can't ask you that.
no,
Oh,
now
they
maybe not, but
can't, but they do.
Yeah,
Uh,
and says we talk to HR about that. Why don't
I
we
made a
come and ask? You
mistake.
can ask them same question you asked. Just ask me.
I didn't know any better. But, I still took the job. But again, it was one of
Wow.
those things where I had to kind of prove what I knew how to do. And I was just right out of college. So it was a little nerve wracking. But I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, but how
Wow.
It's a
dare you?
fun
If I knew
question.
what I knew now and went
Yeah, I've
back,
never had anyone ask me that.
if I went back in time, I could tell that guy where to shove it.
Exactly. That's why I can't believe they even had a nerd. I said, do you ask them in that? See, that's what I would tell them too. Do you ask
Right.
them in that
Yeah.
when they're gonna be a father?
Yeah.
You can't ask me
Right.
that. Let's move
No.
on to the
Yeah.
next question.
Yeah.
Let's see,
Yeah.
You're
that's
not
just
going to get
me.
that job if you get that answer either way. So I just be honest. I had one person.
See, all
I went in
your
for a
oh,
job
and I'm
interview in my 20s, and I was pregnant at the time, but you couldn't tell. And they were saying, "How long do you foresee working here?" And I said, "Other than a little paternity leave, as long as you'll have me." And they were like, "Oh, well, when are you having a baby?" And I go, "Oh, in about 6 months." I think I don't know, whatever it was. And they were like, "All right." And up until that point, they were like ready to hand me a whatever W10 whatever tax information. I was there to fill it out,
Yeah.
and they put their folder down. And they're like, "All right, well, this has been a good interview, and we'll give you a call." And I never heard from them again.
Of course.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This life. Anywho, but that's why we
Yeah.
appreciate these things. We don't appreciate. I okay. We have Claire getting shot, but I also want to say that that is the best resignation letter that I have ever seen in my
Ever
entire
seen
life.
whole life. Was that amazing
Yeah.
or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole sequence, the last 10 minutes was incredible. Sam Ewan was incredible in this last scene. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I love Kate and I know she did an amazing job, but that whole scene to me was really about Sam Ewan. It
Mhm.
Yes,
was
yes.
Yeah.
amazing. Amazing. He was
Yeah.
amazing in
Because
that whole sequence. I mean, the whole from when he heard the shot to the whole thing. I mean, it was written all over his face through that whole last 10 minutes. It was incredible.
yeah.
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 That's, honestly, how else would he have got his point across? So it
Right.
was.
Well, I just
No,
think it's
yeah.
interesting. Even when she's shot, she's telling people what to do. Did you
Yeah.
notice that?
Could be in the liver. There's so much blood.
I'm sure Thea's right. I'm going to find the ball and remove it.
I think it's in the
The
liver. There's a
doctor's
lot
trying
of
to tell
blood.
her, and she's like, "No, that's not how you do that." Come on, Claire.
Very stubborn. Very stubborn.
She's telling Hunter what to do. That just made me roll. I'm sorry, that made me laugh.
With the cheese.
No, no, it's totally
Is it
Claire,
cheese?
of
Is it
course.
Milford cheese?
Great. She's telling him what to do.
No,
You
but
know, for like
I
half
thought
a second. Oh no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say no. I thought the ending was phenomenal, and it was just,
Phenomenal.
yeah.
Just
I mean,
phenomenal. And
yeah.
that whole doctor scene, you're like, really? And he just leaves. Well, I mean, in the book, he does a little bit more than what they give him for in the story. I mean, he tries to help her in the book, but
Right.
knows that he can't do anything for her. He knows that.
Mhm.
And so he's like, that's why I need to leave and at least help people that I know I can help. I
Yeah.
can't dig this bullet out of her, so there's no way I can help her. So he
Yeah.
knows that. And he doesn't acknowledge her as a doctor on the book either. So I'm wondering why they made him do that in the story.
I think because the rest of us would be pissed if he didn't eventually, because we'd be right and we're like, look, she's saving people. She saved somebody right in front of her. Is he that stupid? So
Yeah.
Yeah, he was that stupid. They should have
And
left him be that stupid.
that was like a typical guy thing where the doctor was saying, "Well, I have this accolade and that accolade.
I
And,
know, right?
makes
Oh
me
my
the
gosh.
better."
And you're trying to tell me I'm wrong? She's like, yeah,
yeah.
you're wrong. Do you want me to show you how it's done? I just started laughing when she said that.
Would you like me to explain the procedure to you? No, I
Explain
wouldn't.
how I do
Yeah.
that.
And then on top of that, you
Great.
can't even take a bullet out of her. I mean, what good are you?
That was great.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Such a simple surgery.
I
Denny
know,
can
right?
do it.
Like, Denny can do it, right? Lord have
Right.
mercy.
And I
It was
did like
phenomenal.
Denny just like sticking up for her automatically, no question. And
Yeah.
then they have to stick up for Denny because he stuck up for her. They have to convince the doctor that he's a doctor. It's
He's a doctor, right?
and I would like to
I know.
strangle
Yeah.
several
Stupid.
characters.
Yeah.
I know, right?
And let's
Yep,
see here.
best resignation letter ever. And that's what the
Yep.
whole I don't know, there was a group that was talking about the titles of all these last 7B, that the
Okay.
title is within the story somewhere. And I don't know if you guys have noticed that in all these episodes, there's either a line that they say or it has something to do with how they did it. And that's exactly what he did. He wrote in my heart's blood, Claire's heart, and it was in her blood that he did that. I'm like, that's where it is.
Mhm.
Yep. Yes,
Like,
it's
that's
excellent.
fantastic. So they've been doing that through this whole second half, and I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Because we were playing, at least I was playing the game of, okay, what could be happening when this title's happening, and if we'd have known
Right,
it was a
exactly.
line,
And they're
that
doing
might
it
have been
throughout the whole
yeah.
series of this last second half. You know, you don't get used to it. He says that in a line. That's the name of the episode. So they put it in somewhere, somehow. The
Yep.
name of the
I mean, they
episode.
did do that in some of the episodes in the past too. I mean,
Yep.
maybe it isn't always apparent, but like Dragonfly and Amber, and there's some other ones
Or
too.
Dragonfly. and
Happiest
Amber
Place on Earth. When
is
Bree talks about
Disneyland. Yeah.
Disneyland, yeah. So
But they've been doing a lot. Yeah, they've been doing a lot of that. I mean, like in every episode of this season.
Yeah, they take
Yeah.
titles that have to do with the episode, but they very rarely have taken a line directly out of the episode
Right.
and made that the title.
And they've been doing that this
Right.
whole season. Yeah.
I'm gonna call that fan service too, because people who read the books we could sort of
Fantastic.
guess. Okay, that's what might be happening here.
Right.
That's what might
Exactly.
be happening here.
And then we figured out it was his resignation letter in his own heart's blood. Absolutely. That was it right there. Fantastic.
I like
Yeah.
Whoever
and
wrote
they
that
included
script was
Sir.
awesome.
Yes, it was. It was very well done. Everything was very well
Yeah,
done in this one.
it was well done.
Uh, I like also just at the end where Jamie is praying and he's
Hmm.
basically saying, "You could send the angels to come and get her, but I'm not letting them." I want to know
I'm
how
not
he
letting
fights
them take her.
angels. I want
Yep, I'm
that
not
scene.
letting you. Yeah, that's a really good scene. I'm not letting them take her. Yeah.
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 And how he always says, I'll pray and I'm begging. I'm gonna beg right now. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
absolutely.
will beg. Yeah.
Again, he
You're
was
like,
just
oh,
amazing.
Jamie.
Amazing.
There's so many odd Jamie moments in this whole episode. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, Jamie.
A lot of Jamie, a lot of tears, a lot
I
of
know. It's like,
emotion.
oh my God, Jamie.
I like the when they were talking and they were looking up at the stars and he was saying it, it's like the universe is like um uh kind of, I can't think of the word.
That's
But
okay. They say a lot.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. And that it's hope, you know.
Yeah.
Only God, man can make lots of things happen, but God created hope.
I suppose men can make all the laws they like, but God made hope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it was good. And then, of course, the line that everyone talks about, the stars will burn out and we won't burn out either. I'm like,
Right.
that's
Right.
another old Jamie. There's so many old Jamies for me.
And
Same.
they
Definitely same.
and why the soldiers aren't afraid of death is because they have hope that their death will have meaning no matter what.
Have meaning. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who
And
was
that
that?
was mental line.
I see. That's
That's
what I said.
right.
That's exactly what they were talking about in Alamance, because him and Jamie had that exact same conversation. That he was
Mhm.
Yep.
afraid that their death wouldn't mean anything because they were set in such a big, I don't know, regiment or whatever, instead of just the clans.
Yeah.
And that's what he was talking about. The exact same thing. That
Mhm.
he
Yeah.
doesn't think our death will mean anything because there's too many of us now for it to mean something.
Yeah.
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 And
There's
They say
always a
that.
war coming, right?
I liked how they faded all the stars in the universe and down to one star, kind of like a hope.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
bright. It was bright. It was lovely.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was good. Did we miss any parts anybody wanted to chat about?
I don't think
Let's
so.
see.
I
The
think we really.
British withdrew. I like the description of Lee was dismissed and Washington came up and says to Jamie with swords and he's cursing and everything. The description from Bixby was fun. I enjoyed that. I just
Yeah.
that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was good.
There were some light
Yeah, well,
moments, but it was a very emotionally heavy
heavy
episode.
Yeah, it
episode. It
really
was very
was.
emotionally heavy.
Yeah.
True that. I
Yeah.
agree. A lot of stuff happens in this episode that just makes you cry from the beginning all the way through to the end. I'm
Yes.
like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yes.
And
And they treated
yeah,
Yep, go ahead.
I did feel bad about Lord John when William was saying that he wasn't a gray.
It wasn't a gray. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was trying to.
Yeah.
What am I?
Still confused. Yeah. And he
Yeah, what
says,
am I? Fraser?
You are my son, no matter what. You are my son."
Right.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
that
like,
was a
oh my
really good
goodness.
point too.
that was
That
definitely heartfelt.
Yeah.
they're
And
like
then he talks
working
about
their
how he
way.
threw it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how what he said, Lord John says about Jamie. You could have been. It could have been worse. Sired from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then he
exactly.
starts talking about what Jamie is like and how he is, and it's interesting because in the book that wasn't who said that to him, but I think it meant more coming from Lord John than it did from Hal, and that's who says it in
Yeah.
the book. It
Yeah.
Yeah.
made sense for Lord John to say that,
Yeah.
which it really doesn't make sense for Hal to say that to
Yeah.
me. But
No.
yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, you're getting dark there, Jackie.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Something happened.
It's
Well, I
nighttime,
will miss you
Jackie. It's
guys
nighttime.
for the next
Yeah,
chat. And too bad we have to wait a whole nother week or so, but
yeah, 2 weeks on that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Well,
love you
before
guys while
before
I'm on
you go,
vacation.
Kathy. Wait. How many kilts are we giving this? One through
Oh,
five.
5.
One mean you
oh,
hate
Five
totally
it.
and a
five,
half.
totally a five killed. Oh,
We had to
totally a
convince each
five
other.
killed.
Okay.
Yeah, that was one of the best episodes I think of this season. Truly,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
it was amazing.
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah,
It's really well
Yeah.
done. Well, I since we do have a few minutes and Kathy wants to leave so much, I'm going
Oh no, I don't know.
I'm just teasing you. I want to thank you ladies so much for coming on this and doing this, because I've never
Thank you.
tried to run a chat like this for my channel. And to
You guys are
everybody
great.
who came and joined me, I just thanks so much for taking the time and doing that.
Yeah,
Going to continue
it's
doing
been
this.
so much fun.
It's been
Yeah, it was
fun.
great fun.
It's been a lot of
It's
fun.
fun to talk
Yeah.
about it.
Thanks for the invite.
Yes.
Well,
At least I can
thank
talk
you
to
for
somebody else
responding
about it
to my
besides my
email.
husband.
I know, right?
It,
I should talk to anybody because no one around me watches Outlander, and it's so depressing.
I know.
Great to be able to talk to people.
My dad does, but he only has it on Netflix, so I can't talk to him about anything
About
current.
season 7, you're right.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
not
my
on Netflix.
gosh, yeah. Just get stars, and then when it's done, just cancel it.
It's okay. I was sneaky. I gave my mother-in-law the first book for her birthday in December, so I'm just waiting for her to finish reading it.
And there
There
you
you
go.
go. There you go.
Yeah, I'm devious.
yeah.
Well, thank you, ladies, and if you aren't coming back in 2 weeks, then
I'll
you'd
be
like
good.
to be on couples or part of the Outlander chats that I do later, just drop me a line, let me know when I ask, and I will hopefully
Yeah.
see you guys soon for more talks.
Okay.
Okay.
Gab,
Thanks, Katie.
Hey, Kathy.
Bye,
See
you
you,
thank you
guys.
guys
Biggie.
so much.
Talk to
Bye,
you
Katie.
soon.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
The stars will not burn out, and nor will we.
All right, last reminder. Yeah, if you want to be part of our chats for Couple Next Door, make sure you do send me an email. The email address is below in the description of this video. And be sure to join us January 20th. If you've always had fun things you want to say about the Outlander episodes and just haven't been able to join us for a chat. And have a great rest of your week.